You're watching NappyCast by Jason Nappy. Weather, summer around the corner, the summer solstice around the corner. Meteorologically, we're already there. Temperatures here are going to be getting up well 80s, 90s, 100s across the country. As we're going to see those clear skies up in the north continue. Got clouds down to the south. You see all that happening right now. Some severe weather up in the high plains, upper Midwest. Get into all of that right now. The surface analysis, show you what's going on right now. We've got nice clear cold front off to our north in Canada. That's not going to make it that far south at all. We've got a stationary boundary here, southeast mid-Atlantic. There's going to be pop-up showers and thunderstorms throughout the day all across the southeast, mostly non-severe for the most part. They're going to be very garden variety. But up here, upper plains, upper Midwest, there will be a threat for severe weather. I'll get into all that in the forecast in just a second. Let's take a look at it. See those fronts moving through the country, especially this one. This one up here, this front coming down from Canada, coming down here into the upper Midwest, the plains. That's the one to really keep an eye on today for the threat of severe weather. So here's a look at temperatures, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s right now, but those are going to turn pretty toasty in a few hours, especially down to the south and the southwest, desert southwest, and the southeast. So here's a look at the next several hours and days as far as that severe weather threat goes here. Upper Midwest, high plains, clear in the northeast, but you do have some red popping up here. So this is going to be mostly a wind and hail threat from the front, not a high tornado threat. It's only about 2% for a tornado threat up here, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota a little bit. So not a high threat for severe weather or even tornadoes. It's about a 30% threat for the wind and hail. But for the rest of us, it's going to be garden variety thunderstorms towards the southeast. And then I'm going to stop it here around, we'll call it Wednesday into Thursday. And now this is the Thursday afternoon. This is a pretty strong cold front up in eastern Canada, moving down through the southeast, down to the mid-south and northeast, okay? So this is going to be our next kind of big weather maker for the country. It's just like around the Thursday afternoon time frame that gets in. But to the severe threat today is a level 3 out of 5 up here. You see that ENH, that's enhanced by the Storm Prediction Center in Oklahoma. So that's a level 3 threat. It does extend down into the plains a bit. So mostly wind and hail. There is a tornado component to this, but it's not very high. It's only a 2% threat. Doesn't mean you're not going to get one. It means there's a probability within 25 miles of a point of basically that 2% threat, right? So that's today, but mostly it is a wind and hail threat, okay? Also a threat over towards the mid-Atlantic as well, but it's a lower threat. Now I want to talk about the weather highway, about this heat wave that's coming longer range. So this week we'll get a taste of heat and humidity. We have a ridge in the east, okay, ridge out west, and then here comes the front to come through Thursday, Friday. This is the cold front I talked about. Here's your trough, okay? That'll come through, clear us out, maybe even give us a quiet and dry weekend for the most part coming up in the northeast, which will be the first time in months. But then, here it is. I'm going to stop it on Monday, the 23rd. Here's your big ridge. This would mean some serious heat around this ridge coming up and a lot of humidity. Here's your trough out west with an area of low pressure. So right now, it's around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and we'll see if it holds on for the 25th. But that mostly the 23rd and 24th where you have that ridge in place across the east here. And then we'll see if another ridge builds after that for the end of July. But there will be more troughs coming through, so there will be cold fronts. Here's a look at the temperatures, okay? And this is Monday, Tuesday, okay? Texas cranking up, Oklahoma 80s, 90s, triple digits here. Okay, you've got your ridge beginning to build, okay? So we'll get a taste of heat and humidity this week, especially in the Northeast, just a taste of it, but really is going to be the system next week. I'm going to fast forward things to, this is next Monday. This is where a bunch of that heat pushes off to the east here from that ridge. So for the first time in a while, we'll get some heat. Now, it has been hot already this season. This spring, we've had a taste, but this would be a little bit longer than a day. And then on Tuesday would be the hottest day along the coastline here, where all that heat comes and pours down from the west, okay, around that ridge. So right now, if you're thinking about getting the air conditioner in where places that you don't typically have air conditioning, you want to put that in the window. This is a good time to do that. We'll get a taste this week and another, probably a little bit more of a, we'll call it an appetizer this week and more of the entree next week, bigger helping of the heat. And then we're into more of a summer pattern by the last week of June there. So I appreciate you checking that out. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the forecast in more detail for my loyal followers in Maine, where it is sunny pretty much statewide. There are a few clouds, fair weather clouds in Portland. There's a very thin layer of moisture in the atmosphere now, so the showers will be very limited, and there will be a few clouds, but not a big deal today. Happy Father's Day. Sun and clouds mild, and then we're hot and humid. The thunderstorms get here, especially on Thursday, a few left over on Friday, and the weekend looks good right now. Finally seeing, I can't call it a completely dry weekend, but we're making some improvement there. The precipitation opportunity, okay, very careful about talking about the weekend around here. Precipitation opportunities go down significantly for the weekend. Right now, it's more of a Thursday, Friday thing for the mountains. Here comes that humidity. By Wednesday, Thursday, it really cranks up Thursday with the thunderstorms. And then for next week, more humidity coming. So I've introduced the muggy, the humidity sensor, or reading, or radar, a rating into the forecast. So Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I've got the humidity on full tilt just about. That's at least dew point 60s and even some 70s for dew points. Okay. And temperature is making a run for the 90s next week. This week, even away from the coastline. Now, humidity starts to crank up Wednesday, Thursday. Cold front comes through, and then the humidity starts cranking back up again Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we'll get a brief break with the cold front Thursday into Friday, but then the humidity is going to ramp right back up. So if you like it hot and humid, we're going to get there. If you like it cool, enjoy the next few days before it starts to crank up.